in New York, taking on the Mets, who bring in a record of 77-73. Padres 82-68. Game gets going at 4:10. The Mets are currently minus 125 on the money line. Michael King will be going for the Padres, while Clay Holmes will be going for the Mets. It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. Will help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free, so you can drive with peace of mind. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
No fluff, just facts.
A nice weekend at Petco for the faithful.
Fly ball headed out towards right field and deep. Moniak going back, and that ball's going to run hop up and over. That will play two, and the Padres take a 9-6 lead.
Still 2.5 behind the Dodgers, but that wild card spot's looking better and better. And week 2 in the NFL.
Right hash, 46, win the game. 4 seconds left in overtime. Good operation. 46, the kick, wins the game. Cowboys win.
Off back, looking off in downfield. Got a man wide open. J-Mo. It's gone. Yes. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Sammy.
Here's Barkley right side, spinning through the hole. Saquon Barkley is in. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
I'll make up for it now.
Shoving his way in. He's in. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
And the champs beat the Chiefs again. No Brock, no Kittle, no problem.
Quick snap from the gun. Pressure coming. Throw. Wide open. You want Denny. Open field. 25, 50. He's gone. 5. Touchdown.
Fletch is feeling good today. We talk about it all live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios in the Fletch Zone.
Let's get it going here on a Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then, and we got a busy one for you. A couple giveaways on the show today. A pair of tickets to go see Billy Idol on September 23rd out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, and a couple of tickets for the Aztecs game this weekend against Cal, who's coming to town at Snapdragon Stadium. GoAztecs.com for tickets there. Kevin Acee is going to be joining the show, our Padres insider, coming up at 1:30 today. We'll talk to Kev and preview this series against the New York Mets. Michael King on the mound for start number 2 of his little rehab, or what'd you call it, Sammy? His re-debut?
His re-debut
of the 2025 season. Excited to see what Michael King looks like tonight in a huge series for the San Diego Padres. Of course, we will react to last night's Monday Night Football action, and I'm curious, Sammy and I have not talked about it yet, but how everyone is feeling about the doubleheader on Monday night. They switched it up this year. They actually made it so you could watch both games. I'll be honest, went a little late for my liking. I have a bedtime that's pretty strict. I like to be in bed by 9 o'clock.
Please.
It was on far past 9 o'clock, and I did not get enough sleep last night. I'm a little grumpy today, but we're going to power through for the Fletch Zone here from noon to 2. Sammy, did you like having the 2 games like that back to back?
I loved it. I was just sitting watching with my boys, having a few beers, and watching 6 hours of football. So I enjoyed it. That game last night both games were great. The first game was fantastic.
The second game left a little to be desired.
The second game, we're going to get to that in a second. But in terms of the Baker Mayfield comeback, wow, what a performance by Baker coming back week 1 and 2. Major props to Baker Mayfield. And as someone who I doubted Baker Mayfield a lot early in his career, he has certainly proved a lot of the haters wrong. And it's kind of crazy to see guys like him, guys like Sam Darnold to a lesser extent, other quarterbacks in this league who are just total cast-offs, kind of like left for dead. And it used to be kind of once your first team gave up on you, it was kind of done. And it feels like now we have second chances. And so shout out to Baker Mayfield. Now, on the other side, another quarterback who got a second chance, Geno Smith. I don't know if I've ever seen a worse quarterback performance in a game.
Now, the Chargers defense is excellent. Derwin James was all over the place yesterday, but Michael King goes out, or not Michael King, excuse me. Khalil Mack. I don't know where those two names are getting mixed up. Khalil Mack goes out of this game, and I thought, Raiders are going to have a chance. They're going to start running the football a little bit more. Ashton Jancy, when he's touching the ball, looks pretty good. And they just decided to completely stay away from that. Let Geno Smith keep throwing interceptions. The Chargers defense is fantastic, especially if it's playing against the Las Vegas Raiders, who looked pretty hapless last night offensively. I thought the game plan coming in was a little rushed, a little aggressive for the Raiders. I think they absolutely can play in a game with the Chargers and look respectable. They did not last night. That was a bit embarrassing for the Las Vegas Raiders, if I'm being honest. And we'll talk to Mike Costa this Thursday about it and see what he thinks. But in terms of Baker Mayfield, in that game 1, I'm a Baker fan. I have been for a while. I like his swag. I like the cojones that he plays with. And last night, did you see the moment, Sammy, where it looked like Baker Mayfield tore his Achilles tendon and he went down to the ground?
Yeah.
And he's grabbing the back of his leg as if he was seriously hurt. And I thought in that moment, I was like, my God, are we actually about to get another quarterback injury? There's been so many already. But then he pops back up and starts talking smack. And it's like the trash talk healed his broken Achilles or whatever it was that was going on with him. And then the camera goes to the sideline where he is off the field. And it looks like he's meditating or summoning some sort of demon before he goes out there and completes the game-winning drive. I love watching Baker Mayfield play football, and that was a lot of fun last night, seeing him take that game-winning drive. And it was just a great game on that side. Those two teams both brought it. It looked like it was going to be a shootout from the get, and then the defenses jumped up, and then it was really up to Baker in the last few minutes to just take care of business.
I'm surprised how bad the Texans offense looks. That's really shocking to me. Like on paper, they should be a good offense. Like they got a decent offensive line. CJ Stroud, Nico Collins is really being hyped as the next receiver. And they got guys down the depth chart, but I think this
Nick Chubb even looked good last night.
Yeah, it's the Texans are odd to me. I mean, I picked the Jags to win that division, but like the Bucks certainly got it together, and I would have understood if the Bucks lost that game because Tristan Wirfs is out. Then you lose Gedeke at the right tackle spot early in that game in the first quarter. So you're both bookend tackles that are making big money go out. Chris Godwin's not playing, and shout out to Baker Mayfield. I mean, that 4th and 10 where he squirts out and gets it, like that's if you're Houston, that is a tough loss today considering you were at home and looked like after that punt return, after the block punt, everything was going your way. To get a blocked punt and a punt blocked and a punt return given up and all that and not scoring very much early and then come out with a win on the road, massive W for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Huge. And Baker Mayfield's just allergic to losing in weeks 1 and 2. He's pretty good in those weeks throughout his career. All right, let's get to the big three of hour number 1 here. We're going to talk some Padres coming up in just a little bit ahead of their series against the Mets out in New York. But right now it's time. Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports every single day. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you would like to watch the show, a couple ways for you to do it. On YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. That one stays live from noon all the way to 6. John and Jim take it over right after we get off the air. And on X at Fletch and Sammy, find us there. We got some military members in the house today, Sammy. That's very cool. They just
it was awesome. We got some. I
believe they're Air Force.
Yes, from the Miramar Air Base. I don't know. It's like
salute.
Yeah, we got some real people that actually do real things.
Some real American heroes here. They just looked at me like, this guy actually has a job.
Yeah,
What's he doing here?
It's a little embarrassing. They're like, run a military base. So what do you do? I talk on the radio for a couple hours a day.
It's great to have you guys in the house. Appreciate everything you do. All right, Sammy, where are we going with the big three?
All right, more impressed with the Chargers or disappointed in the Raiders last night?
Has to be disappointed in the Raiders. Look, Justin Herbert's getting a lot of praise today. Justin Herbert played fine. He just didn't mess anything up. That was the most special thing he did last night. I think really highly of Justin Herbert. I really do. And that's probably what that Chargers team should have done to that version of a Raiders team. The Raiders were hapless last night. They were discombobulated, disjointed. The defense was okay for the first little bit of the game, but the offense was so putrid and so horrible that they weren't giving their defense any time to rest. So Herbert, sure, impressive. Yeah, that's what he should be doing. He's a all-pro capable quarterback in the NFL these days. This is what he should do when a team is absolutely flailing on the other sideline. Has to be disappointed in the Raiders, who I know, and I think you know, Sammy, the Raiders are capable of playing much, 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 much better football than they showed last night.
I mean, I hope so.
Seriously.
It's last night. I'm going disappointed in the Raiders, and this is not taking stuff away from the Chargers. I'm going to give the Chargers their flowers first.
They just didn't mess up.
Yeah. Well, the defense didn't mess up. The offense is pretty bad at the end of the game. Like Justin Herbert, that first half was great. And then the errant throw to Jermaine Pratt that should have been intercepted. That Greg Roman play call where he runs a jet sweep to Darius Davis. I was watching with a friend of mine who's a diehard Charger fan. He's like, you have Najee Harris. You have Justin Herbert, who's a tank, kind of built like Josh Allen, and you're giving it to Darius Davis on a sweep play. Made no sense. They fumbled at the end of that game. The Chargers gave the Raiders ample opportunities to come back and win this game. You got to shout out the Chargers defense after losing Khalil Mack and what they were able to do. But Geno Smith, 0 for 10 on air. That stat they showed last night on air yards, passes over 10 yards. 0 for 10 with 3 interceptions. That is a 0 QBR.
Now, the first pick, I don't know that it's entirely his fault. The one that happened right at the beginning of the game, the kind of pinball interception.
Yeah.
Probably was an ill-advised throw, but I wouldn't put that fully on him. The other two, terrible throws.
And he was missing guys, like not sliding the Charger defense, but Trey Tucker was down there, had an easy open completion, threw it, sailed it over his head. The throw in the back of the end zone, which was the third pick of the game, made no sense. Geno Smith was awful, and it's kind of amazing that the Chargers were keeping them in that game because like the Raider defense was able to step up in the second half. But I was really disappointed in Geno Smith. I know his receivers are not great, but it wasn't really the receivers last night. They were getting open at somewhat, and it felt like the entire offense revolved around the fact of getting Brock Bowers the ball, and then Derwin James was put on him, and that got stopped.
Where'd our music go?
Oh, gotta get it right here.
Come on. There we go. All right, what's story number 2?
Baker Mayfield has come back win last night. Obviously, huge performance. Where would you rank him on top quarterback on a quarterback list of moving forward? How many quarterbacks would it take to get down the list for you drafted Baker Mayfield if any quarterback was available?
I mean, I don't think he's moved up or down necessarily for the start of this season. This is kind of who Baker Mayfield is. He's going to give you some really fun performances. I think he's still right in that Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, sort of second tier burgeoning on third tier quarterback right now in the NFL. Baker Mayfield's a lot of fun. He can absolutely win you a playoff game. Is he a Super Bowl quarterback? I don't see it personally, but I really do like watching Baker Mayfield. So give me that 10 to 15 range in there with that just kind of clump of guys who's not at the top of the league, not at the bottom, somewhere in the middle.
Again, as someone who's not been a Baker Mayfield fan for a long time, I'm looking at the NFC, and you give Jalen Hurts the nod because he won a Super Bowl. But you know how I feel about the tush push, and we wonder how that would affect that offense if that was taken away. But it's there, so they got to deal with it.
Stafford's still above.
Jaden Daniels, when healthy, I would put him above because you would draft him because he's younger. After that, like I was super high on Caleb Williams. That obviously is not going the way that everyone thought it was. There's time to fix it, but it's not going the way that everyone thought it was going to go. In the NFC, like after that, I'd probably take Baker. Like
it's that grouping of Dak, Purdy, Baker, Jordan Love is in there. It's that group of guys.
Like I guess you could throw Kyler Murray in there. Is that in?
I hardly. We'll see how he does this year. So far, they've had a bit of a cupcake schedule. But I don't know what Kyler has shown you against elite competition that would tell you he belongs in that same group.
Yeah, it's the NFC is so odd because the AFC. I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but you have 4 big time quarterbacks in the AFC. Joe Burrow just got hurt. Maybe Justin Herbert's elevating into that conversation of Mahomes, Lamar, and Allen. But it does feel like it's more roster based in the NFC, and I guess Jordan Love would have to be 4 right now.
Jared Goff
because of experience. Jordan Love, to me, he could ascend into this. The Green Bay Packers look unbelievable, but Jordan Love, outside of one playoff game where they destroyed the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys weren't even that good this year. I mean, he choked in that fourth quarter against the Niners.
Here's the problem with Baker. Some weeks he looks like he should be at the top of the list in the NFC. Some weeks he looks like he should be maybe a lot lower than he actually is, which is why he fits right there in the middle. He's good for 1 or 2 of these performances like last night. And let's be honest, quarters 2 and 3 last night, Baker was nowhere to be found. And he was missing a lot of throws. It was the first quarter and the fourth quarter where Baker really excelled. And it was really the final drive of the fourth quarter. So, if we're being honest, he was great in the first. He was great in the last 5 minutes of the game. In between, he wasn't very good.
It's fair. I would just give him a pass last night because when Wirtz is not playing with the best tackle in football, and
right tackle got injured right away.
Who has a 3-year, $90 million deal, gets hurt. Godwin's not there. Like I just, and it's a pretty good defense. So I'm giving Baker more props, even though he didn't look great in the middle of that game. Neither did CJ Stroud, which is a conversation for later. All right, let's head to the Padres. So 3-game set here, big series against the Mets. The Dodgers lost in extras to the Phillies last night, which is a tremendous game. Who right now, if you have 3 starters, if the wild card started today, who are the Padres 3 pitchers you are going with? 1, 2, 3.
Pivetta, King, Cease. And I it's going to take a lot to get me off that block. I do think I want to see Yu Darvish come out of the bullpen in the postseason, and I'm not kidding about that whatsoever. The bullpen has started to give you a little bit of pause over the last couple of weeks, really ever since Jason Adam went down, because Jason Adam gives you such variability out of the bullpen. He's not just a gas thrower. He has a lot of other pitches. Guess who else does? Yu Darvish. I would not mind to see him slide into that role. Cease is starting to become a little more consistent, and on the off chance you will get one of those lights out days from Dylan Cease in the postseason, he becomes one of the most unhittable pitchers in all of baseball. Good news is, if that's coming pretty early on in the game with Dylan Cease. And if it's not there, get him the hell out. I would not mind at all if it is Pivetta, King, Cease in a 3-game series, whether it's in Chicago or wherever it ends up being. That's your starting three, but you Darvish is there early in case Cease gets into trouble.
I like it. I would probably agree with that. King, obviously, we got to see in his second start, but he looked good in his first since coming back. Pavetta's been the ace all season long. Cortez has to go back to the bullpen, in my opinion.
He might not make the roster.
He might not make the roster, but if he does, he was an original bullpen arm for the Yankees, and then he got changed to a starter. I was watching a little bit of the Dodger game last night, and I think the Padres should do this. Mike Schilt, Dave Roberts a lot, and he gets flack for it, but he'll start a game with like a closer. He'll start the game with a bullpen arm and then give it to the Padres or to the
they
Dodgers
won the
starters.
World Series last year with two starting pitchers essentially.
Well, two starting pitchers, but even like last night they had they brought Sheehan in. They started the game with Bonda and actually didn't work out. Schwarber hit a home run. But you'd think it's interesting, like the Padres, the big problem we've seen this team is when they're playing from behind and they're chasing it and the starting pitching is giving it up. It would be.
So you're saying throw Estrada out there at the start, or throw
one of these guys out there at the
Suarez
start.
or Miller for 2 innings?
I'd probably go Estrada because I did want to save those guys at the end. Throw Estrada out there, get to the top of the lineup, and then try to see if your guys can get a lead, and then see how long the starting pitching can go. Because it's frustrating when you watch the Padres. It feels like so many times they're just behind the 8 ball immediately because the starting pitching cannot be trusted. I wonder if you gave the batters a little bit of a minute to gather themselves, if it might work out in the postseason to hide a little bit of how bad the starting pitching is.
That'd be bold. And if it didn't work, Mike Schilt would be ridiculed relentlessly. And I feel like Dave Roberts has a little more security than Mike Schilt and AJ Preller at this point. All right, quick break here. Coming up next, we got Billy Idol tickets for you. They will be given away before 12:30 today, so don't go anywhere. Keep listening. And we're going to get into that Padres series. What this series specifically means for the future of this season, and I think it means a lot. It's San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Download the Prize Picks app today. When you do, you're going to want to use promo code FLETCH, FLETCH. That's going to get you a $50 bonus on your first $5 entry. Prize Picks is my favorite daily fantasy sports app, and it's not even close. I've tried them all. Prize Picks is the only one I've ever stuck with. Been with them since November of 2023. Been telling you about them since November of 2023. I've been playing the app since, November of 2021. I love Prize Picks. It is my favorite app on my phone. They got tons of discounts hitting the board all week long as football has made its way back. You can get really crazy on Prize Picks these days. It's the best spot to get sports action here in California. Withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure with Venmo, Apple Pay, and more. I've done this before where I've won on a Sunday night football game, and by Monday morning, the money was in my bank account. Just use promo code FLETCH when you download the app. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And today, might I add, is a Taco Tuesday. There are discounts on the board all day long. A player's stat projection usually might be, say, 6 strikeouts in a game. Today, it might be at 4.5 strikeouts in a game. So download the Prize Picks app today. Take advantage of the promotions. And coming up at 12:45, we're going to give you a $5 lineup you can put in to get that $50 bonus. Because on Prize Picks, it's good to be right. 619 Texas Show saying, shocker, Fletch was wrong about the Raiders once again. Don't worry, he'll still pick them as a dark horse again next year. I don't know if it's too early to say I was wrong about the Raiders. They got talent, man. I just don't really get it. San Diego FC back on the pitch tonight. SDFC has Club Tijuana in the first ever Baja Cup tonight, 7 o'clock. Our coverage is going to begin at 6:30 with the SDFC kickoff show with Adrian Garcia Marquez and Darren Smith right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. This is pretty cool, man. SDFC taking on Club Tijuana, the Baja Cup. They nailed the name. They really did. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Let's talk some Padres real quick here before we get back to the NFL coming up at 12:30. Billy Idol tickets within the next 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Padres taking on the Mets out in New York this week. The reason this is a big deal, this series, is the Padres on the road against postseason teams have been abysmal this year. The Padres need to prove that they can do it before they're going to have to do it in the postseason. You're going to get a 3-game series, most likely on the road, to open up postseason play, unless something dramatic changes. Did the Dodgers win last night, by the way?
No, it was a crazy game. They lost in extras to the Phillies 6-5.
So the Phillies are still gunning for the 1 seed. They're getting closer to the Milwaukee Brewers. The Dodgers and the Padres, still this could flip-flop.
Right. It's kind of a weird thing who you're rooting for, because in theory it's good for the division for the Dodgers to lose. If you don't get the division, what the Dodgers are doing by losing to the Phillies is then it creates that Brewers series that the Padres have in a week, where you were hoping that the Brewers wouldn't be playing for anything. You might have 2 teams in the Brewers and the Diamondbacks who are still in this thing, who makes it a really kind of tough last week there for the Pods.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that it stays the way it is right now. Padres are the 5 seed. They're going out to Wrigley to take on the Chicago Cubs. If it stays like that, the Padres are going to be on a road series against a postseason team, which they've been utterly awful at this year. So this week gives you a pretty good opportunity, I would think, to practice that. They're going on the road to take on the Mets, who we're presuming is going to be a postseason team, even though they may drop out. They've been really bad lately. The Giants and or Diamondbacks could take their spot. But you look at this series and it feels like a great tester. You're playing against a team that has a ton of power. You have a lack of power. You're playing against Clay Holmes, who's been kind of up and down. He hasn't been able to go more than 5 innings in his last couple of starts. But the Padres against bad pitching have been really bad this year. So I think this is an excellent opportunity to not prove to me or prove to Sammy or prove to your fan base, but prove to yourselves that you can go on the road against a good team with a lot of powerful bats and take them down.
Well, and these 2 teams have a lot of parallels. Like, they were the 2 teams that had the highest payroll a couple years ago, and they both had seasons that they wanted to forget when they both missed the playoffs. And you look, they got stars. Both teams have stars everywhere. I'm interested to see how they play here, because the Padres have widely been known as the best bullpen in baseball ever since the deadline. The Mets have been another bullpen that people look out for in the postseason. They added a lot of arms, not quite the sexy names that the Padres added, but they got arms. It's crucial because it's hard. You know, the Padres had a nice little weekend against Colorado, but again, the only success they've had in the last 3 weeks have come against Colorado, and you're not going to be seeing Colorado, unfortunately, in the postseason. So this is a perfect test. You're on the road. You could get some real momentum heading here into the playoffs. And it comes down to the bats. Who's going to show up here? Because you got Lindor and Soto, and Soto has been really struggling all year. Now, the Mets have been 2-10 their last 12 games. Pete Alonso did get them right on Sunday. He hit a walk-off 3-run home run. So you wonder if they wake up a little bit. This series, to me, is completely on Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Luis Ariz, and Jackson Merrill. They have to show, the Padres have to show that their big 4 is better than the big 4 of the Mets. Like, at some point, I don't want to hear any more of, oh, well, you know, Manny can wake up right when the playoffs start. No, Manny needs to wake up right now, because the season's coming to a close, and this is a perfect opportunity to really kind of cement yourself as a team that people don't really want to play in the postseason, or vice versa. We could be sitting here going, they can't beat anybody good.
And somehow you still have an opportunity at the 1 seed in the NL West. Somehow the Dodgers have still left that door open, so take advantage of it. The update on New York is that the Mets are 9 games under 500 since the All-Star break. Soto has 17 homers in 52 games over that stretch, so the power's been there. Nothing else really has. Pete Alonso, 13 home runs over that stretch. And then Clay Holmes, like I just mentioned, he is the Michael King for the Mets, as Michael King was last year for the Padres, where he's converted from a bullpen arm into a starting piece. And he's more than doubled his career innings, or career high in innings, from 63 last year to 151 through 29 starts this year. But his last couple of games has not been able to get through 5 innings, 6.23 ERA in those last 2 games. So the table is set for the Padres to maybe take advantage of some bad pitching today. We'll see if they can do just that. Big game tonight for the Padres. Big series for the Padres this week. All right, Billy Idol tickets right now. Let's give them away. He's at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on September 23rd alongside Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. But if you're caller number, what do we say, Sammy?
Let's go 7.
How about caller number 7? That's a great number. 877-767-4760. You want to go see Billy Idol out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater in Chula Vista? Call right now, 877-767-4760. Let's talk some NFL on the other side. Where are all the quarterbacks going? It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sport is sponsored by eBay. Padres Mets game 1 of their 3-game set gets going tonight from New York. The Mets currently minus 125 on the money line, and that game will be going at 410. Michael King will be going for the Padres, while Clay Holmes will be going for the Mets. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
San Diego Sports 760 on a Tuesday. How about a big shout out to our buddy Phil listening to the show, winning himself some Billy Idol tickets. Thank you for being here, Phil. We really appreciate it. If you ever want to text the show, be a part of the show, 70470, start your message with team. Lots of ways for you to get involved, including the talkback mic on the free iHeartRadio app. We love the talkback mic. We say it all the time.
We love the talkback mic.
The talkback mic?
The talkback mic's fantastic.
The talkback mic is the best thing ever created. If you want to use it, you can get on the free iHeartRadio app, listen to San Diego Sports 760, find the little red microphone icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, tap it. You can leave a 30-second voicemail. Goes directly to Sammy's computer. We can play it on the air. I might try to squeeze a couple of those in today. So if you got any thoughts about what we're saying, you want to call me an idiot, you want to call Sammy beautiful, go ahead and take care of business. Here's what I love about the fact that the NFL and betting has gotten so popular here over the last couple of years. You start to get stats like this, and these stats can really help us out, Sammy, when we're looking at, say, our Circa Survivor pick for this week. The Fluke Report. Have you seen this yet?
I have not seen the Fluke Report.
The Fluke Report is teams that win success rate but lose games. For example, Jaguars, their success rate this past week was 49% to the Bengals 37%. However, Bengals lose the football, or the Jaguars lose the football game, Bengals win. Panthers, 49% success rate. Cardinals, 43%. However, Panthers lose the football game. Broncos had a higher success rate than the Colts. And then teams that win yards per play but lose the game. Giants, 7.8 yards per play. Cowboys, 5.8. Giants lose. Chiefs, 5.2. Eagles, 3.7. Chiefs lose. Dolphins, 6.9. Patriots, 6.1. Dolphins lose. And of course, the Jaguars, who could not catch a break this week, they have 5.7 yards per play. Bengals, 5.4. Jaguars lose the game. So all these indicators of what teams should use to win games doesn't always work out. And that's what makes the NFL so beautiful. You could do almost everything right in a game and still end up losing because of one big play, because of one offsides, tush push, doesn't matter. Teams figure out ways to win in this league. And I think that's what evens it out. The margins are so thin. And that's what makes betting on the NFL really, really stupid sometimes.
Well, that's why, that's why it's the ratings reflect it. People can't get enough of NFL football because, like, just take the Chiefs, for example. We can sit here and talk about how they don't have their receivers and the offense is a direct correlation of that.
But they're 0-2.
They're 0-2. So, unfortunately, yes, I firmly believe that the Chiefs, when healthy, are an elite football team. But right now, they're staring down the barrel a little bit. They need to win. They got to get it together. That's what makes it so fun. That Bengal team last year, 0-2, 1-3, and we're sitting there at the end of the year. If they could have got in, they might have been hell for all the top teams. I certainly didn't really want the Bengals coming to Kansas City. So it's what makes the NFL so good. It's the perfect balance between you're not done after a couple weeks, but it really matters. Whereas like college football had it a little bit the other way. It's the second he lost before it was the 14 playoff. It was kind of like, all right, well, the season's a little bit over. The NFL just gets it done perfectly. And it's 0-2 teams have a 12% chance to make the playoffs. So we'll, I wonder if those numbers will change a little bit, adding the extra wild card team, because it used to just be 6 teams made it, now 7. But week 3 is always a really big week.
Yeah, to add to that stat, since 2020, 5 out of 42 teams that started 0-2 made the postseason. So the Chiefs' backs are up against the wall already. I don't know. I'm worried about them, Sammy. I don't know if they can even survive. Text line asking how you feel about the free 4 shirts that some of the Chiefs players were wearing. Now, you've been saying apologize to Rasheed this whole time.
I said free Rasheed.
Free Rasheed.
I think it's being blown way too out of proportion. I know in Kansas City it's a big deal. People are losing their mind. For those who don't know, the team wore free number 4 Rasheed Rice shirts. Obviously, no one's, I sit on here and joke, no one's condoning his actions of what he did. But at the same time, it is like the guy was going to be suspended last year, had literally every part of his leg ripped apart, missed the entire season. And it's just they're just supporting their guys. I mean, I feel like if this was your best friend, you'd be supporting him too, even though you're not condoning the actions of what he did. I think that the free Rasheed shirts are getting blown way too out of proportion online.
Now, just to make this clear for everybody, because I saw the shirts and I had to go back and look and make sure that I wasn't making up the severity of the crime. But Rasheed Rice rented a Lamborghini and was racing against a Corvette on a Dallas highway at speeds up to 120 miles per hour, lost control, causing a 7-car pileup that injured several people. 10.8 grams of weed were found in the Lamborghini that Rasheed Rice was driving during this high-speed crash. That's the crime. Oh, and by the way, he fled the scene. For the
no
Chiefs,
one's condoning the actions.
but the Chiefs players who are wearing the free 4, I think he got off pretty easy.
I mean, he got suspended 6 games and he missed all last season with an injury. Like,
probably could have ended up in jail for a little bit of time.
This is stupid. People are blowing this way out of proportion.
Sure.
It's no one's condoning actions. Are we not America? Do we not believe in second chances? Is that not what we're founded on?
Absolutely.
And so now we're gonna rip a guy years after it happened because it happened. Like, yeah, he's not going around saying, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong."
For sure.
This is just people don't like the Chiefs, so let's just create another storyline. It's fine.
Sure. All right, let's get into this then. The teams that have lost their quarterbacks now for 2 to 3 weeks. So we're taking Joe Burrow out of this conversation and the Cincinnati Bengals. It's unfortunate. He's probably going to miss the whole year unless the Bengals stay relevant enough for like postseason time.
He could come back in mid-December, but
that's the earliest he can come back. But Schefter said last time on the broadcast, if they're not in contention for a postseason spot, he's going to be held out the rest of the year as well, which I think is probably the smart move. And I don't think the Bengals will be in postseason contention by that time. Now, the other teams, Vikings with J.J. McCarthy out 2 to 3 weeks. Jaden Daniels with the Commanders. Let's say he's going to miss some time, even though he's still questionable for this week technically. Justin Fields probably going to miss a game. Brock Purdy out at least another 2 weeks, maybe 3. Of those teams, who is going to struggle the most? Who has the most to lose here with their quarterback being sidelined? Sammy, why don't we start with you?
Well, I'm going to go Jaden Daniels because that team is totally built upon him being good. I mean, we saw the Niners, and this is what caused Fletch being all frustrated yesterday morning because Colin Cowherd went on his show and said we're kind of seeing that whatever quarterback they put in there has success. That's a kudos to Kyle Shanahan.
Against the Saints, sure.
Do I think Mac Jones is Brock Purdy? Absolutely not. But I think we've seen, despite the very soft schedule the Niners have played, they can win games based on whatever quarterback's in there. And the way the Niners are constructed, it's not about Brock Purdy making heroic plays. It's about them running the system and things like that. So I wouldn't say the Niners right now. Jaden Daniels, though, completely. I mean, that offense it's an air raid style offense. Certain quarterbacks can run it. You need speed, you need athleticism, so you can't just throw any guy in there. And especially when he comes back, if he's still dealing with the knee sprain, that's going to limit his mobility. This whole offense is built on downfield shots, constantly putting pressure on you. And after the loss of Brian Robinson Jr. to the Niners, you're looking at and then Austin Eckler just got hurt. Ja'Cory Cross-Key-Merritt looks like a really talented young player, but that's a lot to put on whoever's coming in. Mariota's okay. So at least Mariota, you have the mobile, aspect
and experience. The dude's a 10-year NFL vet. He was a starter for 6, maybe 7 seasons.
I think we're going to see, if you're a gambler, fantasy football, whatever, I think Deebo Samuel has become essential for this team. And he's
lots
out.
More end arounds, lots more jet sweeps. Right. Maybe even see him out of the backfield a little bit with Eckler being down. I agree wholeheartedly.
What about you?
Look, it's hard for me not to say the 49ers. I will put them aside for this because I do like Mac Jones is good enough to keep you in games. I will say that. I disagree wholeheartedly with your point of Brock Purdy never needs to make a big play. That's just high. You were smoking whatever was in Rasheed's.
Well, no, I think Brock Purdy needs to be. He's being paid to make big plays. I'm telling you that the way your roster is founded, if Brock Purdy is the savior, it's not going to work out well. And we saw this when Mac Jones came in and they run the system properly.
Fair enough. I feel like the team that's in the worst spot without their starting quarterback is probably the New York Jets, who are fringe, and I mean fringe, chance of being a playoff team with Justin Fields. Without him, I don't think they have a shot.
I was really on that point. I was really disappointed. Like, I watched a little bit of that game, the Bills-Jets game, and I didn't expect the Jets to win the game. The Bills are a much better team, but the pathetic offensive showing from the Jets, Justin Fields was in that game for most of it through the first 3 quarters.
The Bills are playing a little bit possessed right now. I think they're a little sick of all the smack that was talked against them this offseason. I think everyone
We're talking smack on the Bills.
A lot of people,
they're favored in every single game.
Of course they are, but the fact that the narrative around them is that they just can't get past the Chiefs or can't get past the AFC Championship game, that's got to be running pretty hot in that locker room. So they're playing different. I think most teams that play the Bills this year are going to get run over a little bit like the Jets were. And the Jets, unfortunately, just aren't on that plane yet. But they're good enough to beat a lot of NFL teams. They're good enough if Justin Fields is quarterbacking them because he's special. Man, Justin Fields is a special athlete. And now they have Tyrod Taylor, I believe, is their backup quarterback. So the Jets, without Justin Fields, are nothing.
I was just shocked with the Bills. I thought you would see Ed Oliver was out. Ed Oliver is crucial to that defense in the way that it's built on defensive tackle. And I was very bummed out because after seeing week one, maybe we overhyped Justin Fields. Justin Fields lit up the Steelers defense, but then again, Sam Darnold just diced the Steelers defense in Pittsburgh. So maybe we're just overvaluating the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. The text line's calling Fletch out. It says 858.
Just me?
Niners are in serious trouble when Mac Jones goes 4-0. We'll all wonder what team party plays for. Ride the hot hand. Jones will be in the Super Bowl.
Sure. I hope so. If that's that good, yeah, ride with him. I'm not about just play who pays. 858 says, let's free El Chapo while we're at it and his kids.
Oh, yeah, because Rasheed, that's so stupid.
619, isn't that multiple felonies? You know, I thought so, 619.
And he has a court hearing. Do you guys not know how
he's
the law works?
He's going to spend 30 days in jail. I think that's what the latest thing was.
And docs pay?
Feels like he's getting off pretty easy. Maybe that's just me. What do I know?
Yeah, because you don't like the Chiefs.
What do I know? I'm just saying. I'm not a lawyer. It feels like I would take that punishment.
Everyone come to Ben Fletcher for legal advice. That's what we learned today.
Just saying. We got long shots coming up next. That's where we go to Sammy Long for some gambling advice. And I'm excited for it.
I want the truth. You can't handle the
Jack, just kicking it today. We'll be right back with long shots. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Gary giving you all the options for the latest 376-1299. That is 858-376-1299. When you call them, let them know the Fletch sent you. I was speaking with Gary earlier today, actually, and he just found this brand new spanking thing that if you are a teacher in San Diego County, you might qualify for up to $40,000 off on closing costs and your home loan. Give Gary Cooper a call. And to see if you can qualify for it, Gary Cooper, this is what he does. He eliminates the smoke and the mirrors and the shell games when it comes to mortgages. He will tell you why. When you call 5 different companies, you get 5 different answers regarding your interest rate. And he will also make sure every single option for you in your situation is exhausted to the last little decimal. And give him a call today and find out what different programs he can use for you. 858-376-1299. You could also visit Gary online at mountaintrustmortgage.com, but give him a call today. Tell him that I sent you. Have a conversation. Get your very own degree in loanology that only Gary Cooper can give you. 858-376-1299. Extension number 3 if you want it, but you can just listen to the little drop-down menu. 858-376-1299. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long, till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Feels weird on a day like today not to address it, so we can talk about it right now for a second before we get to long shots. Robert Redford passing away. He was in his 80s. Talk about one of the absolute GOATs, one of the legends, star of one of my favorite movies of all time, The Natural, which is a fantastic baseball movie that I've probably seen 70 times, and I'm sure a lot of us have. Robert Redford, one of the best actors of all time, just the most charming and handsome dude to ever exist, pretty much. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Did you watch his movie that came out 5 or 6 years ago called All Is Lost, where he's a sailor?
No.
It's incredible, man. I'd give it a shot. He's an older gentleman in the movie, obviously a sailor, and he wakes up one morning and he's on his own out in the middle of the ocean, and his boat's taking on water, and it's just him, a camera, and a boat in that movie, and it's phenomenal. But Robert Redford, really one of the GOATs, gone in his 80s, passed away in his home up in Utah, either last night or earlier this morning, not sure. But Robert Redford, he's good. You seen The Natural, Sammy?
I have not.
Watch The Natural.
Okay. Robert Redford's a phenomenal actor, though. I mean,
he's so good.
Just made everything better. Yeah, it's cool. I've seen all the tributes to him today, but definitely one of the GOATs.
The Natural is a baseball movie that's based on a true story of a player who got shot at some point, and then it took like 13 years for him to come back and play. So it's based on a true story, but then it takes some kind of wacky turns into supernatural stuff almost. But a tree gets struck by lightning. Robert Redford decides, I'm going to make a bat out of that tree. And then it just starts hitting dingers all over the place. And then there's a betting scandal. It's chaos. It's crazy. Really, really great movie.
Don't give us the whole plot of the movie.
It's just, that's the little tiny bits. But then there ends up like the best soundtrack and score of any movie ever. The theme music is iconic. All right, Sammy, did long shots win last night? We
went 3 for 4. If you added Fletch, Baker Mayfield, went 4 for 5. The one who sold us, I gave you Justin Herbert under on yards. I gave you Bucky Irving over on rushing receiving yards. And CJ Stroud hit his over. But that they didn't give Ashton Jetty the ball.
I know. The game plan was off for the Raiders. It was working. His first touch of the game, he got like a 13-yard rush on it. Every time he touched the ball, something positive happened for the Raiders. And they just kept letting Geno Smith throw it.
Well, yeah, and then he's after the game, they're like, how do you adjust to the NFL? I go, it's not his fault that he wasn't given the ball. He had 11 carries. We need 17. I was surprised, especially because the Chargers weren't really putting him away. I know that they were winning in the game, but it did feel like Orlovsky and Riddick and them kept saying on the broadcast, like, the only shot the Raiders have is to run the football, because they were not getting anything going downfield. Felt like a major mistake, and it cost the people of San Diego a lot of money, which is the most frustrating thing, I think.
Everybody Rich on YouTube saying, if the Raiders didn't abandon the run, we were sitting pretty. Fletch nailed the Baker pick. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. All right. Tyler says 100% Rich. Okay, cool. Same stuff. Well, let's get to long shots today. See if we can pile up a winner. No football on TV tonight.
Yeah, this isn't all baseball.
Here we go.
Those with a less than good chance of winning, too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
Hashtag Faith and Sammy. I think I left that off of Rich's post on YouTube.
Oh, thank you, Rich.
We all have hashtag Faith and Sammy. Where are we going today?
Guess what? This is an all NL parlay tonight. All right. So all games that really matter for the Padres and for the NL playoff picture. So let's start with the Padres. I am including the Padres. I get hesitant including them, but I do feel good about Michael King tonight. He looks very good in his first outing. We lost last, came out of the game early. Mike Schill left him in there for a while. I think a big thing about this is the fact that he only is going to have likely 4 starts in total before the postseason. You got to see what you have. And kudos to Mike Schill, even though he sold the parlay for all of us, for letting him hang in there. And he was pitching very well. Didn't have a super high pitch count. But we're going to go more than 4 pitches strikeouts against the New York Mets. Let's not kid ourselves. The Mets offense has been terrible. They got big names, Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Mark Vientos. There's a lot of guys on this roster that you look at and on paper go, wow, they're really good. They have been struggling mightily. Juan Soto has not been good. Pete Alonso was in a major slump until he had a 3-run walk-off home run on Sunday. I think Michael King's numbers very low, and so we're going to go more than 4 pitches strikeouts, and I have faith that Mike Schultz is going to leave him in the game long enough, especially with the Jason Adam injury, the bullpen being a little bit thinner. I think Michael King gets left in the game, more than 4 pitches strikeouts. It would be beautiful for all of us. Early cashes are the best. No need to sweat.
2 innings in, he goes, 5 up, 5 down, all by way of the K. Don Marcillo gets to do his little special thing. I like that a lot.
Especially we need a little get back after the over in the Texans Bucks game did not come through for us last time.
Is there anything better going to Major League Baseball right now than when the Padres strike out 3 batters in a row in an inning and you just go 1, 2, 3, and then Don Marcillo goes nuts? I think that's the best thing going to Major League Baseball right now.
So good. All right, let's hit it. Not Cardinals, excuse me. The Diamondbacks and the Giants, very fun series. So the Diamondbacks, as we were talking about yesterday, like hottest team in baseball. This team can't lose. All of a sudden, the bats that were flailing for a little bit in the season, after trading Eugenio Suarez, Naylor at first base, I mean, they've seemed to have gotten better. Corbin Carroll, Marte, these guys are swinging the bat well. They beat up on the Giants 8-1 yesterday. And so they could be knocking the Giants out. The Giants got a tough schedule rest of the week with Arizona and the Dodgers. The Cardinals, I mean, if they could slip into this thing, and they're not necessarily a team, I think the World Series 2 years ago. So this isn't a team. This is a team that does know how to win a little bit. We're going to go Eduardo Rodriguez, a tricky pitcher for the Diamondbacks, more than 5 pitches strikeouts. He's been really good for them. He stepped up after the Corbin Burns injury. Eduardo Rodriguez, the San Francisco Bats have not been there since Friday night. Really, they had 1 pitch, but they took Tanner Scott deep on a grand slam. Saturday, they had 1 run. Sunday, they had 1 run. And then yesterday, they had 1 run. So it has not been working out for them. Eduardo Rodriguez, more than 5 pitches strikeouts. Then our last one, the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani, we're going to go more than 14.5 pitching outs, simply because of what we were talking about with Michael King. The Dodgers have a big decision on their hands. Is Shohei Ohtani going to start a game? There's been some rumors that maybe he would start early in a playoff series if it was a 7-game series and he'd come out of the bullpen later in the series. But logistically, how does that work? If he has to bat, how is he going to be able to get warm in the bullpen? I think you're going to see, we've heard that he's only going to be able to go 5 innings in the postseason. I think Dave Roberts is going to push it a little bit tonight and see if Ohtani can go a little ways, because it's a tough question for the Dodgers. Like, Ohtani's amazing, but then you could be cooking your bullpen in an early game if he can only go 4 innings and you got to bring the bullpen in and it's a long game. And then all of a sudden the rest of the series, the bullpen, who has already been really bad for the Dodgers, is dealing with Shohei Ohtani, more than 14.5 pitching outs. So to recap, Michael King, more than 4 pitches strikeouts for the Padres. Eduardo Rodriguez, more than 5 pitches strikeouts for the Snakes out there in Arizona. And the Dodgers, more than 14.5 pitching outs for Shohei Ohtani.
You know, Shohei Ohtani now is the most coveted sports memorabilia player in the world right now.
It makes sense. I mean, I heard Mookie Betts' podcast and talking about how, like, him in Japan, they're like, it's like Michael Jordan. Like, he's like, they're big stars, all of them. They're like, they don't care about any of them. It's just Ohtani.
I think Jordan's number 5 in the league. Trout and Judge might be 2 and 3. I can't remember what order they're in.
Imagine if Trout played for a relevant franchise.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
and
amazing.
Imagine if he didn't get hurt as much as he has.
If he didn't get hurt,
like, take half the injury time away from Mike Trout's career. Yeah, you're looking at the best numbers in Major League.
Imagine if Mike Trout played for the Phillies.
Seriously,
like, you talk about big time branding, he would get the Judge, the Ohtani, the brands like that.
I don't think he would want it. He seems like a very private guy. Like, I think he kind of likes that he's been buried on the Angels.
He feels like a lot to me like Damian Lillard. It's like, it's honorable that he stayed with his franchise for at least, you know, Damian Lillard most of his career, a couple years of the Bucks, and went back. But it's like, it took Damian Lillard so long to request a trade from the Trailblazers that then it was too late in his career. Couldn't win with Milwaukee. Now he's back. It feels like we could see Mike Trout in a couple years request a trade, but at what point is he too old?
Yeah. He probably won't. He's going to finish his career. He's going to die a Los Angeles Angel, which is unfortunate.
Wow.
All right, take a quick break here. Hour 1 in the books. Hour number 2 coming up next. We got Kevin Acee joining us at 1:30. We'll talk some Padres with Kevin Acee, see if he likes that Michael King pick. We also have Aztecs tickets to give away for their game against Cal this weekend. Rocky Long and DJ Pumphrey making their way back to the Mesa. Going to be a pretty cool night out at Snapdragon Stadium this Saturday. All that coming up. Hour number 2, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
by Lexus El Cajon. Bring luxury home. Padres in New York taking on the Mets for the first game of a 3-game series. That game gets going at 4:10 tonight. Michael King will be on the mound for the Pods, while Clay Holmes will be going for the Mets. And last night, Tampa Bay and the Baker Bucks come back on Houston to win that one. And then the Chargers were able to take down the Raiders in Vegas. They'll be taking on the Broncos next week. They're currently a 2.5-point favorite for customer service with unbeatable offers on new and pre-owned Lexus models in stock. You've got to visit LexusElCajon.com today. Bring luxury home from Lexus El Cajon.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
And an AFC West rivalry in City.
Takes a shot downfield, 2 wide open. Caught. Quentin Johnston. Touchdown. Chargers.
Can you ever have too much football?
Are you crazy?
Lucky Irving, more than 88.5 rush and receiving yards, more than.
Not really.
CJ Stroud, lightning bolt, more than 202.5 passing yards.
You will be okay.
Ashton Genty, more than 17 rush attempts. Justin Herbert, less than 216.5.
More balls and brains.
Now we head to the San Diego Sports 760 studios to get into the Fletch Zone.
As much as I love to make fun of Sammy Long, that open was false. Fake news.
CJ, I love you, dude, but I hit 3 of those.
I mean, the Ashton Jancy one was spot on. Absolutely right. But Bucky Irving cashed.
Bucky Irving and Herbert Cash.
Yeah.
He had 242 passing yards.
Oh, yeah, it was set at like 277 or something.
216.5.
All right, well, CJ, you're wrong, and you're going to have to answer to Sammy Long. Get scared, bro. It is San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. We're with you until 2. John Jim will take over then. Kevin Acee going to be joining us coming up at 1:30. We also have Aztecs tickets to give away this hour for their game against Cal at Snapdragon Stadium. This will get on the air at 5:30 Saturday afternoon. We do have a special surprise dropping guest going to be joining that pregame show that I just found out about today. It's going to be very, very exciting for all you Aztec fans. So stay tuned for that.
Guys, I'll sign autographs when I'm there, okay?
It's not Sammy Long. I promise you that.
Seriously, if there's a line, it's, I went there. So
When we're talking about Aztecs for life, the Kawhi Leonards, the J.R. Tolvers, the Marshall Falks, Sammy Long is right in that conversation. Maybe just above Kirk Morrison, I think is where we have him.
And honestly, above Kawhi. Kawhi's taking, fake money from
all sorts of scandals now.
And also scandals. Like, I don't know if they want to be associated with that.
Yeah, Sammy Long definitely deserves to be on that
I'm an
list.
upstanding citizen of the
Kevin
San Diego
O'Connell,
community.
Never heard of him. Who's Kevin O'Connell?
Oh yeah, it is kind of, in all seriousness, it is kind of surprising. Like,
would you put yourself below Tony Gwynn?
Yes.
Or are you that inflated of your ego?
I think I might get shot if I left this radio station and I said I was above Tony Gwynn.
Okay? Of course. All right.
No.
We'll get back to the list of where Sammy slots in terms of the greatest Aztecs of all time. But he's up there, man. I don't know. Watch out, Kirk Morrison. He's coming for you. I don't care how good you were at linebacker. Sammy's next. We'll get back to the NFL in a little bit as well. Take a deeper look at that Padres series with Kevin Acee. I mean, it is kind of fun to do the top 3 thing because you look at Tony Gwynn, Kawhi Leonard, Marshall Falk. I think that is everyone's top 3.
Tony Gwynn is number 1 by far.
Right. But Steven Strasburg, Kawhi Leonard, Marshall Falk, where do you put those 3? That's where it gets tricky. And Tony Gwynn never had a World Series. The rest of them
but he's Mr. San Diego. For sure.
And he never won a World Series. Kawhi Leonard, multiple-time NBA Finals champion. Marshall Falk won a Super Bowl. Steven Strasburg won a World Series MVP.
Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi Leonard's hard because at his peak, he's fantastic, but there's so many missed opportunities from Kawhi Leonard to be all-time NBA great.
He's achieved more than just about anybody in the world of the NBA, yet he's still one of the most underachieving NBA players ever.
100%. 100%. Like, you look at the talent and just a kind of lack of playing in games, you wonder how many rings he could have.
Steven Strasburg, one of the most dominating World Series appearances of all time.
Sammy Long.
Sammy Long, right there on that list. Marshall Faulk, literally the star of the greatest show on turf.
Yeah,
Sammy Long.
Danelle Pumphrey and I.
Yeah. You, Rashad Penny, DJ Pumphrey.
Rashad.
Number 2. This is absolutely ridiculous. Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Co-workers? It's time for the top stories of the day.
Matt on the text line taking some shots. Fletch, take a moment to gloat with me in the 2-0 club while Sammy is stuck in Loserville purgatory. Go Birds. Have the Chiefs hit the dynasty portion of their dynasty.
That's just foul, handyman Matt.
619. I heard Sammy's comment about the Chiefs throwing in an elite level team, but with injuries, and they will return. Curious if this is the new way forward for talking points for Chiefs fans to make excuses for their losses. Maybe better to have Kelsey do some catch drills. Go Birds. Love the show. Brian,
shout out to you.
We have so many Eagles fans who listen to this show.
Why there's I in no way, shape, or form made excuses for the Chiefs being 0-2. In fact, Fletch put the Chiefs in as crazy because they're 0-1. They are 0-2. I'm just saying at their peak.
Chargers might have overtaken the Chiefs.
Yeah, we'll see.
Look, Chargers social media team was right in the offseason, Sam. QJ was indeed cooking. How good is Quentin Johnson? He's the best receiver in football right now.
Get theirs. I'm telling you right now.
Seriously, Quentin Johnson through 2 weeks. Who's played better at the wide receiver position? Anybody?
In the league?
Yeah.
Lots of guys.
For the first 2 weeks of the season.
You're getting me distracted.
Quentin Johnson has been unbelievable.
He has been what he should have been as a first round pick at a TCU, a team that went to the championship, got smacked by Georgia.
He's been unbelievable.
All right, speaking of, let's head to the NFL. What 2-0 team concerns you the most? We're going to take the Bengals out of this because of the fact that they lost. But you're like, they feel like frauds to me. I feel like we're going to look at the end of the year and they're going to have middling to whatever record.
All right, well, let's see which teams are 2-0 after 2 weeks. NFL standings.
We have
the Bills are 2-0 after 2 weeks. The Chargers 2-0, Bengals 2-0, Colts 2-0. That's the AFC teams. In the NFC, Eagles, Niners, Cardinals, Rams, Packers, and Bucks. Concerning me the most would have to be the Arizona Cardinals because they played the easiest schedule of any of those 2-0 teams. They played against the Panthers, and they didn't look particularly good in either of those games. And by the way, could have lost both of those games. So the Cardinals, for me, are the frauds in this group. I think the Rams are dead serious. I think the Niners, when healthy, will be dead serious. Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champs. Bucks are going to be a playoff team this year, maybe win a game in the playoffs. Bills, I still have as my Super Bowl champs this year. Chargers, I would have called frauds, but look pretty damn legit to me at this point. Bengals, we took them out of this. Colts, look, Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, dude's cooking.
Yeah, shout out to the Colts. They're going to fall apart. This is a lot like
run game. Daniel Jones is playing better football than he's played in his entire career.
And the thing that they have going for the Colts, they play in a weak division.
Michael Pittman looks fantastic. Their defense looks good.
I think this is a 7-win team. I do not think this is a team that we're looking at in the AFC playoff picture.
I'd say 9.
Okay. I also think the Niners going to Super Bowl. So,
they're still good. They're 2-0.
I think the Niners and the Cardinals, you look at, it's hard to gauge both of them. I'm high on the Cardinals. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I can't really dock either team right now, but they haven't played anybody. So, yes, you give the Niners a little bit of an edge because they beat the Saints with a lot of injuries. But then again, Seahawks, Saints, Seattle game was tough. You know, they won the game. And the Cardinals, you look at, and they haven't played anybody either. Even though I do think the Cardinals are a team that is going to get better, but I don't know if I believe there. The Chargers are interesting to me. I think they're, if we're defining legit, I think they're a good team. I picked them to go to the playoffs a couple weeks ago. I think they are a solid team. We're seeing a lot of Super Bowl buzz after beating the Chiefs and the Raiders From what I saw last night, they gave the Raiders ample opportunities to be back in that game. And shout out to the defense. We don't know what the Khalil Mack injury, how long that's going to be, but this is 10-plus air yards, 3 interceptions. The Chargers are a solid team. I still, Quinn Johnson's been great the first 2 weeks. Keenan Allen's been good. If you're going into Buffalo,
It looks physically painful for you to say nice things about the Chargers.
well, yeah, I hate that team. But I'm being honest about it. Herbert. We've been high on Herbert when he has a real head coach, not that idiot Brandon Staley who cost him half his career. But I do think they're going to need someone else. Because Keenan Allen and Quinn Johnson, are we really sure going into Buffalo, going into Baltimore, in the playoffs, multiple games? I don't know that they have the
Coming in that the Chargers have entered the chat on Tyreek Hill.
Really? When did that come?
No one said it yet. I made that up.
It's the Ben Fletcher brain.
Yeah, it's the Ben Fletcher brain. Doesn't that make a lot of sense though? If the Chargers are in on trading for Tyreek Hill,
I think that would put the Chargers on a different level.
there's a report that the Steelers have apparently already made an offer to the Miami Dolphins that they consider a serious offer to try to get Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs have been mentioned as well. There's no reason why the Chargers shouldn't get in on that.
You wonder about Miami. So Tyreek's, everyone's talking about, rightfully so. Thing up, you have 2 very talented receivers. I think it will be
Tons of wide receiver needed teams. You imagine the Steelers, who look after week 1, a little bit of the buzz has come off of them because Seattle really manhandled them. But Seattle, if they were to add Tyreek Hill to counter DK Metcalf, that's all of a sudden a completely different offense you're looking at. Chargers, same thing. You give Justin Herbert a legit wide receiver 1 like Tyreek Hill, that changes everything for their outcome of the season.
For the Athletic, the Warriors are eyeing maximum flexibility in 2027 when Giannis and Nikola Jokic could hit the open market. Reportedly, the Lakers are trying to do the same thing. Between those two, Giannis and Jokic, who should want to leave their team, and who do you think is more likely to leave their team, or both?
Ooh, that's a good question. Giannis, I believe, has more star power for the bigger market. I would say Giannis, hands down, because he would flourish, I think, in an LA or a Bay Area where he could get a little more eyes on him. He's got a great personality. He's fun. He's easy to talk to. Giannis has that superstar life. Nikola Jokic is one of the most boring human beings I've ever looked at. The only time Nikola Jokic ever even shown an ounce of celebration is when his horses are racing in Serbia. He doesn't care about basketball. He's admitted this fully that he's just there to make some money because he can make a lot more doing that than racing horses. I don't know how long Nikola Jokic is going to be around.
Well, yeah, into that, Boogie Cousins was on a podcast, was tight with him, and said he almost retired before
he play out this contract and just be done.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Jokic doing the LeBron thing where he's playing until he's 40. I think Giannis should want to get out. It's honorable that he loves that city and they took a chance on him. He won a title for that city. He did what he had to do. He won a championship. The Bucks are not in a position, adding Miles Turner, losing Damian Lillard. They're not a team that's going to go win a title out of the Eastern Conference. Jonathan Kuminga situation. Does he get dealt? Does he stay at Golden State? It doesn't really make sense to me why he's not signed in Golden State, but he's not. And then with Luka in LA, that would obviously be a dynamic duo. Jokic should want to stay. The Denver Nuggets are primed to be really good for the next 5 years. But it kind of goes back to your point.
Yeah, where's his future at? I don't think it's in the United States, to be quite honest. I think he's going back to Serbia to race horses, or he's going to try to start a horse racing league here. Hey, coming up next, we had breaking news last night in the NFL that regards Tom Brady. We can talk a little bit about it on the other side. And then we got Kevin Acee coming up at 1:30. Also, Aztecs football tickets next. Text line's been hilarious. We'll read some of those as well. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, and we congratulate all of our $5,000 winners in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. There's still time for you to nominate a public school teacher making a difference, and maybe they'll be one of our next winners of $5,000 to make over their classroom. Help us say thank you to the educators who are shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. All right. You know how this show feels about Circa, everybody. We had a lot of fun when we were there. That was actually my second time being to that place. I couldn't wait to show some of my buddies from college. We're already planning another trip back to Circa.
I'm going next weekend.
To Circa?
Yep.
Look at you, you dog. You got to go collect some winnings because what? Alcaraz helped you?
Carlos came through at the Open.
I love going to Vegas when you have a winning ticket. All right. Well, Circa is an awesome spot. We entered into Circa Survivor, which is a survivor pool. You can pick one team per week. Can't pick them after you picked them once, and that goes on for the whole season until they're out of people. 18,145 people entered into Circa Survivor this year. As of week 2, results have been finalized. 16,965 or less left. Now, if the Cardinals had lost that game, which stats will show you, they should have lost that game against the Carolina Panthers. That would have been 5,169 people. If the Cowboys had lost, that would have been 3,506 people. And if the Rams had lost, which that game didn't end up being a question, but it was, we needed one of those games.
Dude, we were so close. The Giants could not come through for us last week.
The Giants did come through, and then Brandon Aubrey hit a field goal from like 69 yards or something. Nice. I think it was 64 yards.
Circuit Survivor is so fun.
It is, dude. It makes my Sundays heart beating like crazy. Now, we didn't have anything to worry about this week with the Ravens, but we burned the Ravens. So now I'm worried about every week moving forward.
Well, see, what we did was we did Cardinal. So, like,
we went risky week 1.
Right. I think what, like, I was talking to my dad is in this as well. He's and then a middle of the pack team. Like, I think we balanced it out. Like, we didn't pick the Ravens and the Bills where you're like, all right, you're screwed. Like,
I like the Seahawks next week. They got the Saints in Seattle.
I like that. I like that one. Pittsburgh in New England, I got a good feeling about. I think Pittsburgh bounces back.
And then we need a huge upset somewhere else. Like, we need something this week where there's like 5,000 people in on one game, and that game goes the other way.
Yeah, I like that Circa posts. They post how many people picked what.
In fact, they also post a link to where you could see every single person's name who entered on what team.
You know, they start offering you buyouts if you get down to the last few.
We're gonna have to have some serious conversations. If we get into like house range, I think we need to seriously talk about it. I mean, I want the full.
What's house range?
Look, if it gets to a point where, like, Sammy, you and I could each go buy a house in cash, we're gonna need to seriously have that conversation.
You go buy cash. I'll go buy a Ferrari.
Sure,
it's a great way to.
Yeah, like this NFL season so far has already been wacky. Like, we've almost had some huge upsets, but the one hasn't really broken through. I'm curious to see when that's going to be, because week 1 there wasn't a huge one. Week 2 there wasn't a huge one.
Because last year they talked about how our guy Aaron there said that the Bengals lost to the Patriots in week 1. That knocked out like 95% of entries because most people were on that game,
which is crazy. This year it's been spread out a little bit more. We'll see. All right, text line 619. I know this is not the most popular take, but Mike Trout is one of the most overrated baseball without any team success in pressure playoff situations. In my honest opinion, he has specifically chosen to remain with the Angels where there's no pressure to succeed and he can hit in no pressure situations. I much more respect players like Freddie Freeman, who could have hid comfortably in Atlanta, but took a pressured championship route from Bryant.
That's a good point.
Look, Mike Trout, unfortunately, because of injuries, because of the team around him, we haven't gotten to see how bright he could have actually been.
Well, it's also interesting in like a sport like baseball. Like, this is a larger conversation about like NFL quarterback to win a title of sport because you're playing both ways.
And one player affects so much of every game.
One player affects so much. So if you are a player that can't get it done, that gets held against you, aka James Harden.
Mike Trout's been the best player in baseball for like a decade and a half, and his team hasn't done anything. He's played in like 2 postseason games in his career.
And it's funny how baseball players seem to get a pass. Baseball players seem to get a pass on national success. Like NFL quarterbacks get crushed for not winning. NFL receivers don't. NFL corners don't. It's really about the quarterback or head coach. In baseball, it feels like maybe it's a collection because you can't pitch or you can't hit. Unless you're Shohei Ohtani, you can't play both ways. You kind of evade it. But I do agree with this. It's like it's people look at it as honorable that he's staying with a franchise the whole time, and I get that portion of it. Like it's cool when guys spend their entire careers.
I think he's hiding. I think. All right, we got to take a break for Kevin Acee. Two more of these real quick. 858 Chiefs or Chargers need to trade for Olave or Tyreek. 615 Sammy, don't feel bad about being 0-2 because by Thursday night the Dolphins will have one more loss than you. 858 don't let Rashee Rice drive your Ferrari that you buy, Sammy. All those very good texts. We love them a lot. Kevin Acee is next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Before we do that, Aztecs football tickets this Saturday night. They're taking on Cal at 6'7", 760. Sammy, what number are we going with?
We did 7 last time. Let's do 8.
How about 8? 877-767-4760. Call number 8. You're going to the Aztecs game this Saturday night. Give Sammy a call right now.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres in New York taking on the Mets at 4:10 today. The Mets are currently minus 125 on the money line. Michael King will be going for the Padres, while Clay Holmes will be going for the Mets. Potential controversy in the NFL. The NFL says Brady didn't violate the rules in the Raiders booth. He is a commentator, but he's also a minority owner in the Las Vegas Raiders. He was sitting up in the booth with the offensive coordinator last night. Need HVAC this month. Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
Kevin Acee, you by the all-new Humboldt Casino Resort, a player's place.
A master of the scribe, an insider like no other, Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, joining us here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. Hello, Kevin Acee. How's New York?
Fantastic.
Do you like going to New York?
Yeah. Love going to New York. Yes, I don't get to do much when you cover the Padres against the Yankees. You stay in Manhattan, maybe you get to walk around a little more. Doesn't really make sense, even though the team does stay there. But they have a bus with police escort if they need it. It doesn't make sense to stay in Manhattan.
Kevin Acee out in New York covering the Padres as they take on the Mets for a 3-game series here. Michael King going to be on the mound for start number 2. What are expectations on terms of length of start? Last time he went a little over 5 innings. Do you think if Michael King is having success, does he have a pitch count or is he free reign?
No, it's a pitch count, but I mean, we're talking more like in the 80s. And, you know, he can go 6. He was going to go out for 6 last time, but what happened? They tied it, I believe. So, you know, I mean, what he did last time shows that, you know, the guy seems ready for whatever it is that they need from him, except, you know, they're not going to push him in his second start back. And really what's his second start in 4 months? You know, count the, you know, whatever he went, 60 pitches against Boston on August 9th. This is still him working back up, but they did it right this time. And I would say that, you know, normal start for King tonight.
Do you think there's like the added pressure on the Padres can say?
I don't think it's more pressure. I think the pressure is like, you know, and they would deny this. This is why I'm chuckling. Like, you know, how about like you go out and you beat a good team? You know, had enough trouble here the last 2.5 weeks against teams that, I mean, the Reds are at 500 now. Every other team that they played in the last 16 games, below 500 and well below 500, and they went 7-9 in those games. So, you know, how about go out and beat a good team and get yourself closer to clinching? Look, they're going to be in the playoffs. You know, proverbial back into the playoffs. You know, they'd like to win going into the playoffs.
Now, Kevin, and by the way, Kevin Acee joining us here on Sam. Manny Machado, Sammy and I said it. We weren't the only ones. A lot of people all over town. Hell, you even yourself may have said this. Manny Machado looks like he needs a break. Well, he got a break. After a couple games with home runs, he got the day off 2 days ago. Obviously, the whole team had the day off yesterday. Was that Manny's idea or was that the Padres' idea?
Well, it's the Padres' idea, but it was, you know, Manny was looking forward to that, and he had been saying that he needed time. He said that he probably should have taken time earlier, but, you know, hindsight is whatever. But it was Manny in charge, or is Mike Schultz and AJ Preller in charge, and look, you defer to Manny Machado. And there was a time through the middle of July that Manny was hitting 300, and you know you let Manny play, and you also let your best player play, and it's not unique to the Padres. I don't think Rob Thompson's telling Bryce Harper when he's going to play much. That, you know, there's conversations that happen, and so this was something that they looked at for like a week, if not more. But I think, again, talking about it at the beginning of the homestand, that it would look like Sunday would be the day that they would try to get him.
If we're assuming everything holds and the Padres are going to Wrigley to take on the Cubs in a 3-game set, if we're assuming Pavetta's game 1 starter and Michael King is game 2, is Cease the third, or is it going to be Darvish?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the topic, right? I mean, I think here's my answer is that I think it would be Darvish. That's the guy that you're going to trust more. I'm not sure if it really matters, look, they're going to manage it somewhat differently. They're going to manage the bullpen somewhat differently. You're a guy, first sign of trouble, guys out of there. So I don't know, which one do you have more faith in is going to get you through 4 innings, because that's the reality, right? Like, you'll take 6 from them, and you're not going to just yank him because, a prescribed time. But the fact is that both Darvish and Cease have had a propensity to not only have really good innings in a game, but then boom, 4th inning, 5th inning, whatever it is, 3 runs, and it happens quick. And in the regular season, you don't have someone ready to come in because you have all these other games to go. You don't have a bullpen guy out there. You are going to have people ready to go. Your goal is to not let it, this avalanche of base runners against the guy. You're going to get him out of there because that win is the most important, the only important thing. There is no tomorrow for all intents and purposes. So I'm not sure it's terribly important, but I think it's the question of the next couple of weeks as they maneuver their rotation around the off days, and depending on when they clinch and depending on how hard they're going to go for the division title, as it gets closer.
12 games left, Kevin, and I think we all are starting to feel a little more comfortable with the fact that they will be in the postseason. Somehow we've gotten there. We don't know, like you just said, if they're going to be that top seed of the NL West, if they're going to be the 5 seed, that's still up for grabs. But what does this team need to show you over the next 12 games to make you comfortable that they got a good shot in that first 3-game series, because they will be playing in the wild card round? So what do you need to see out of them over the next 12 games that would make you more comfortable going into that series?
I think it's mostly around pitching, though I would say that my biggest concern right now is the offense. But I say that because, this offense is capable. So I just don't know a way to predict what this offense is going to do. And they have shown the ability to eat, and especially actually against good pitchers, to focus and find a way to score the necessary runs. And so I don't really, going into the postseason, if they're still struggling on offense, as long as Tatis looks like he does now, Merrill looks like he does now, Machado's on the rebound, they look good. Forget their numbers. They look like they look good. Then I'm okay with that. I'm wondering, hey, a couple of missteps by the bullpen recently, like what's that look like going in? And what are these starting pitchers doing? Is Michael King keep on this trajectory? You mentioned just Cease and Darvish. How are they looking going in? I think we can have faith, even if Nick Pivetta stubbed his toe here in one of these starts. I think you still have faith. Nick Pivetta is your number 1 guy. For me, it's just kind of like the state of the pitching staff, though. Like I said, I am concerned about this offense. But look, I'm going to be concerned even if they go and they, pummel everybody for the rest of the season. I'm going to be concerned about the offense going in.
If we're playing a hypothetical, the Padres pass the Dodgers for the division or that 3 spot, who would you most like to see out of the Diamondbacks, Mets, and Giants?
Man, it's a tough one. I was amazed at how well they were able to handle the Giants pitchers, the starting pitchers. Those are good starting pitchers, but I don't know. Do you want to attempt that again? I don't know. Because the Giants would seem to be my answer. Let me watch the Mets play over the next 3 days. I can't believe that the Diamondbacks are still in it. So they would probably be the choice. But if they're still in it, that means that they won an awful lot going into the postseason. So it is a trip who that number 6 seed. I do not want it to be, if I'm the Padres, the Reds. They just, if the Reds are able to line up Habit, Lodolo, forget it's Green, right? It's not Hunter Brown. It's Hunter Green. I was getting mixed up. They have got some really good starting pitching. I do not think the Padres want to see the Reds. It does not look like that will be a concern at this point, but I think there's some tough matchups in there, but I'm going to say the Diamondbacks.
All right, Kev, before we get you out of here, let's talk about this for just a second. So the Padres, if they get into the postseason here, which we think they're going to, that starting rotation that you said of Pivetta, King, Darvish, which is new. Well, the newest question that's popped up on the text line has become everyone's favorite topic of conversation is the back end of the bullpen. Is there any chance at all that Schilt messes with it and moves Miller into the closing role, Suarez into the 8th inning role for the postseason? Is it matchup based, or is he leaving it alone, saying Suarez is the guy who got us here, we're sticking with him?
Well, he's sticking with Suarez until then. And then the beauty of the postseason is every night is its own animal. And how does it line up? I mean, again, he's done it in the regular season. If in the eighth inning, you're 1, 2, 3 are up, or you're 3, 4, 5, or whatever at the top of the order, it's going to be Miller. Now, what if it's your 8, 9, 1 batters? I don't know. In the postseason, a manager can just tell his players. He can, he can explain it as it's the postseason and this was the matchup I liked. Now, he can do that in the regular season, but Mike Schilt has been absolutely loyal to Robert Suarez. And while I do understand, why, I mean, it's a question I have as well. I also very much understand why he's been loyal to Robert Suarez. But at the postseason, what you will not see is Mike Schilt making the mistake of having Robert Suarez face Bryce Harper. That's what I can promise you.
Yeah, see, because it gets tricky, Kev, because you think about it. If Mason Miller goes in and gives up the game, I feel like the questions afterwards are, why didn't you stick with Suarez? He's the guy who got you there. But if Suarez is the one who gives up the game, Schilt has that built-in excuse. Like, oh, he was the one who got us here. It's a fun little conversation. I hope it doesn't play out in reality. It's a messy one. Kevin, we love you. We appreciate you. You're really good at your job. Thank you for being here every Tuesday. Enjoy New York. Go get yourself a steak tonight. You don't need to do the Marriott salad. You can do a full steakhouse in New York.
Oh, okay. I'll charge it to you. All right.
No, the UT's got it. They'll take care of you.
Yeah.
See you, Kev.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. The Players Place.
I will not be paying for Kevin Acee's steak.
He thinks you are.
I want to make that very, very clear.
I don't get the idea that Kevin likes to go out on the town when he's in these spots.
Well, if you were a baseball beat reporter and you got to travel all over the country for 6 months of the year, don't you think you would do a little more exploring?
Yeah, I would 100. That would be I think that's why I'd want to do it, is that you're in all these cool cities. I would be out all the time.
Kevin stays in his hotel room and does nothing.
See, that sounds boring to me.
He writes a lot. You think about what Kevin has to do every night. There's a article up immediately after the game that he's written, talking to kind of doing his game story. And then the very next morning around 6 a.m., there's a story out, his Padres Daily with all the tidbits.
Yeah. I feel like I would definitely get fired because I would miss those deadlines.
You would sleep straight through your morning.
Yeah, I don't think I would be very
sorry. I had a couple Jack and Cokes last night. Actually, Sammy's a tequila guy. Had a couple tequila sodas last night. I don't know if the 6 a.m. one's getting in, boss.
Yeah, sorry to the trip.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll close this thing out coming up next. Get you ready for John and Jim. That's on the other side. SDFC back on the pitch tonight. They got Club Tijuana in the first ever Baja Cup tonight, 7:00. Our coverage will begin at 6:30 with the SDFC kickoff show. Adrian Garcia Marquez alongside Darren Smith right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. All right, let's talk about it because the rest of the world certainly is. Tom Brady was in the owner's booth last night watching the game between the Raiders and the Chargers at Legion Stadium. Now, Tom Brady is part owner of the Raiders. The Raiders will be playing against the Washington Commanders next week. Tom Brady was on the call of the Washington Commanders game this past week. It was revealed during the broadcast. I think, was it Kirk Herbstreit who said it? Or no, this was game 2. So it was, who was the guy in the booth last night?
Chris Fowler?
No, it was Riddick or the
Louis
other guy.
Riddick and Orlovsky.
Orlovsky, that's who it was. He said that Brady had been talking with Raiders OC Chip Kelly
2 to 3 times a week.
2 to 3 times a week. Glad I got that all out, man. Woof. But Tom Brady has been talking to the Raiders 2 to 3 times a week, breaking down film, doing stuff with them on Zoom calls, and getting them ready for games. Now, the NFL has this situation where they have all that fine structure set up to where if Tom Brady steps over any of the lines, he's getting fined. And eventually, if he breaks enough of the rules, his minority stake in the Raiders could be taken away. My whole thing is, I get it. Like Tom Brady has a little more access than the normal person because he's calling these games. But doesn't every coach in football, every owner in football have access to every piece of film that's out there from every game?
Well, it's not about that though. He's sitting down with these guys in meetings.
Right. Just don't give anything away to Tom Brady.
I know, but that's how they get their stats on the broadcast. They're sharing things. They're at practice. That's why they always say on the broadcast, they're like, "Oh, I saw them at practice and they weren't taking deep shots the other day."
Right. But my understanding is Tom is not at like he's allowed at some walkthroughs, but it's not like he's going to sit in on every practice of the week.
Yeah, but okay, imagine like if I'm the Chargers and I'm Jim Harbaugh and I'm sitting there at a practice and the Chargers are going to be on a Brady game here in a couple weeks. And I'm sitting there at a practice, I can't show anything because the guy who's calling my game is going to be talking to Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll said he's not game planning stuff with us. Well, he's sitting in a booth with a headset on where the offensive coordinators are. So maybe he's not commenting, but what is he a mute up there? He's not talking. Like, no, that's crazy. Like if I'm an AFC West, like the Broncos, Chiefs, or Chargers, or any team that's playing him, hell no.
Maybe we were wrong about Connor Stallions the whole time. Maybe it was just Tom Brady who was trying to help out Michigan.
Yeah.
Wow. This has deep roots.
I'm surprised. Like, I get it. It's Brady. The NFL doesn't want to piss off Tom Brady. But how can you be a broadcaster sitting in a booth, supposed to be impartial, and people freak out when they think if there's a hometown broadcaster? There's literally a guy who owns a percentage of a NFL franchise, and he's sitting on our practices, and then, because his good word, he's not going to share any secrets. Like, of course he's sharing secrets.
I just think everybody has access to so much now. I don't think it's that huge of a deal.
But
But
the public isn't sitting in on practices.
For sure. But just because he does some pregame interviews with some different people, when Tom Brady's coming, when Jim Nantz or Kevin Harlan, any of them are coming. I doubt they're giving up everything in those times because they're worried that they'll go on the air and broadcast it. I think it's maybe a little overblown. I really do. Now,
I just have a problem with the fact that we've seen on the Chiefs-Eagles game, they were like, the Chiefs were taking shots in practice and they're not doing it in this game.
Right.
They were sitting there watching Chiefs practice. This could apply to any single team in the NFL. And if I'm playing the Raiders, I get why opposing teams, like, I understand if the Chargers are like, that's BS. I don't want Brady sitting in on our practice and then going to talk to. He's talking to Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, 2-3 times a week.
For sure. Now, Tom Brady wasn't just there for his health last night. He wasn't just there to be an extra piece of the coaching staff for the Raiders last night. He was also there because he was making an announcement alongside Turki Al-Sheikh. Did you see this, Sammy?
Saved boxing, yes.
Tom Brady, along with Turki Al-Sheikh, are debuting a new Saudi Arabian, and it's going to be played in Saudi Arabia, flag football league that already has Odell Beckham Jr. signed onto it. Tom Brady. There were a couple other players that I'm forgetting about right now. But how much money is getting thrown at this one? Because it sounds like Pete Carroll is going to go over and coach one of the teams this offseason. It sounds like a pretty big deal. And of course, the Olympics is going to have flag football in it next year. But Tom Brady's going to be playing in this. Is Tom Brady making a push to try to get an Olympic gold medal to add to all of his Super Bowls?
It's funny, though. Tom Brady would be the last quarterback you would pick.
That's what I would think.
You would pick Lamar. You would pick a guy who is, imagine trying to get Lamar down with a flag. I mean, you think Uzbekistan's catching Lamar out of the backfield? Okay. No, Brady, yeah, I'm surprised. It just seems like Brady's mind, and it's a shame because he actually has become a better broadcaster.
Right, but Tom Brady do it. Even if it was Tom Brady, I would still think the USA is the favorites, even if he's the quarterback.
Well, yeah, I mean, the U.S. could run out college guys.
So maybe Tom just wants to win a gold medal to add to his trophy case, which is already
says,
crazy.
do you see the hypocrisy in that Tom Brady called out the Eagles for cheating on the tush push? If anyone knows cheating, it's pretty boy Tom.
Deflategate, baby.
Different A58 says Sammy is right. Brady shouldn't be allowed in the booth with Chip Kelly. I agree.
Yeah, look, I'm fine with that. Like, I get why people had such a problem with last night's game, but I do think it gets blown out of proportion that Tom Brady has all this access. Of course he does. He's Tom freaking Brady.
Right, but
and I get how that's unfair. And maybe they should limit conversations between Chip Kelly and Tom Brady. Everybody, I'm positive, as a matter of fact, Troy Aikman sometimes talks to Jerry Jones about stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right, but he's not a minority owner.
He might have some back alley deal with Jerry. You never know with Troy. Pretty favorable.
If this was not Tom Brady, this would not be happening.
You're probably right about that. All right, we're done for today. John and Jim coming up next. Lots more coverage on the Padres, lots more coverage on the Aztecs. Stay tuned at San Diego Sports 760. We'll see you tomorrow.